morning. This is your favorite morning show where we're not going to talk about the Jets unless we absolutely have to. What a night last night. I got to tell you, it's the first night that I actually sat down and watched college basketball from start to finish. And I got a lot to talk to you about, but last night really ended, well, I don't know if it ended, but yeah, it ended with the 17th win in a row by the Phoenix Suns. And now they beat what many consider to be the best team, 18-2, the Warriors of Steph Curry. But I got to tell you, the Suns winning this many games is startling, not because, you know, they've won these games, but because where they came from, this was a mess. And when I say mess, I'm talking about a capital M-E-S-S. I mean, you fired McDonough, Ryan McDonough, the general manager, a few years ago. You draft DeAndre Ayton. People don't know if he's good enough. What is he? You know, you're bringing Devin Booker. You got all these young guys. Is it going to work? Man, is it working? Holy smokes, is it working? You saw it last year in the finals, and you're seeing it this year. I mean, you're talking about 17 games in a row. Yesterday, I said the NBA was unwatchable. Today, I say I'll watch the Suns play the Warriors every damn night. Look, it wasn't like Devin Booker went off for $1 million. They just play basketball. They move the basketball. They find the open man. They drive. They kick. They don't rely exclusively on the three. I mean, look, I love the Warriors, and I love Steph Curry. I do. Full disclosure, my favorite player to watch. I know LeBron's great. I know the Greek Freak, but I'll watch Steph Curry, and maybe that's about it. But the Warriors did what the Warriors do. They jacked up 43s. They made 14 of them. Now you say, well, if they make 20 of them, they win the game. And you're right, but guess what? They didn't. It's a hell of a night in the NBA. I mean, it's the only game that I watched, but it's still, in my world, that's a hell of a night. But the real night was this. Let me show you what happened last night. You see this? This is a sleeve of Ritz crackers. You see this? This is a half-drank carton of, what is it, A&W Zero. And you see this? This is a Frosty mug. Like, I think I invented this. Like, my wife Lee makes fun of me because I think, oh man, I got 2 mugs. I keep both in the freezer, and then I drink A&W root beer. Who would have thunk to put A&W root beer in a Frosty mug? And then the coup de grace. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this bag here. This is something called veggie chips. Look at how beat up this bag is. This is what I do when I'm home by myself. People say, well, you got to sit at home and have beers. No, if I drink beers, I got to go get some Depends. And I don't think they make 3X Depends. Maybe they do. When I drink beers, it's a constant march to the bathroom, and I got to pause the game, and I don't want to do that. So I ripped open a bag of these things. Now, there's no chance that these things are good for you. I guess 30% less fat. All these are is sticks painted, let's see. You got yellow. You know what that's for? Make you think you're eating peppers. You got orange here. That's to make you think you're eating carrots. And you got green here to make you think you're eating something out of the ground. But I got to tell you, I crushed this bag. I don't know what the hell I did here, but I was all hepped up on A&W Zero and a Frosty mug from my wedding. Who would have thought to do that? Nobody thinks to do, well, maybe A&W thought to do that like 100 years ago. And don't forget, the Ritz. It was a good night. And it started out watching, now the first game we're going to talk about is Duke-Ohio State. Last time Ohio State beat the number 1 team was when my son hit a half-court shot right before halftime, and Ohio State beat Michigan State on arguably the greatest Dakich night of hoops ever. However, last night, Ohio State were some bad boys. They got down. Duke's number 1. The crowd got into it in the Schottenstein Center, and a kid named E.J. Liddell. Remember the name. E.J. Liddell is a frickin' stud. Anytime you are a 2-time Mr. Basketball in the state of Illinois, you're a stud. See, here's how Illinois goes. Here's the highway up in the northern part, all right, 80-94. Everything above 80-94 is Chicago. It's urban. You got all the suburbs. You got mass of humanity. Everything below 8094 is simply a farm. That's all. It's one huge farm, and then they throw some pretty good basketball towns in it, like Springfield, like Peoria, like Pekin, Illinois. I mean, a bunch of great small towns in basketball. So Illinois has it all in the state of high school basketball. They got Chicago City. They got rich suburban. They got huge schools, and then they got these farm communities where the entire the entire community comes out and they watch. Well, hard to be Mr. Basketball once. This kid was twice. He goes to Ohio State because he was an Ohio State football fan. And last night, step back Jack puts him up. And next thing you know, Ohio State under a guy named Chris Holtman, the head coach, who I was dumb enough not to hire as an assistant back when I was at Bowling Green, but I would take a bullet for now for the way he handled my son when he played for him, gets a big win. And by the way, Holtman's going to join me on my radio show in Indy coming up at 2 o'clock if you want to go to 1075.com. But the bottom line was, number one Duke goes into Ohio State. Ohio State had great luck a few weeks ago with a last-second shot to win, and bad luck a week ago with a last-second shot to lose against Florida. This time it was just boom, 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 boom. Man, guys getting after it. Duke playing hard. Bunch of freshmen looking like seniors. Well coached. But Ohio State stood strong, man. Weathered it. Couldn't make a free throw. Started making free throws and got it done. And my fat ass was sitting there enjoying every minute. The other game was my alma mater, Indiana, under Mike Woodson, 6-0, taking on the Cuse. When you talk bad about Duke losing, you know what happens? The deep state gets you. It grabs you. It pulls you. It yanks you. And next thing you know, I got to go get a freaking antenna on my roof. Apparently what I've got to do is climb up there and hold a wire and do this show. But I'm telling you, when you talk about the Clintons, when you talk about Biden, and when you talk about Duke basketball, the deep state will grab you. I'm sweating. The top of my bald head is shining. The deep state, man. Don't talk about K. I didn't mean to. We're back. All right, let's try this again. We'll see if my internet can hold out. I'm only paying $8 gazillion for the best internet in the world, apparently. And apparently it doesn't work. Back to Duke. No, I'm sorry. Back to Indiana. Indiana has 36 bloggers. Now think about this. 36 different blogs that tell you of the greatness of Indiana basketball. I have one little radio show, and I talk about basketball a lot. Coached at Indiana, played at Indiana. Here's the deal. Indiana was 6-0, a lot of enthusiasm. Oh, we wouldn't have won that game last year. Oh, we wouldn't have. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Here was what I saw of Indiana before last night. They didn't guard well. And I thought Jimmy Dykes did a great job. And I'm going to get into college basketball announcers here in a minute. I thought Jimmy Dykes did a great job from the get-go saying Indiana's got to guard the dribble. Well, Indiana really couldn't guard the dribble. And it was a great game. Like, it wasn't a good game. It was a great game. You see the number right there. You see the score. Like, who doesn't want to watch 112 to 110? I know I do. Give me that today, tomorrow, the next day. Trace Jackson Davis with another double-double. All that dude is, I think, is the number one front runner from Indiana, the center, for college basketball player of the year. It was a great game. The Boeheim boys were hooping. And I mean hooping. Indiana couldn't get a stop. Indiana all of a sudden started scoring like crazy. Indiana showed great heart, but Indiana did not have enough. Mike Woodson walks out of there knowing that his team, pretty tough. Jim Boeheim walks out of there going like this. Why? Because they were 3-3. He's playing his two sons. There's a lot of heat on them, and they got the job done. That's pretty good. No, that's one of those where you go, whew. Kid named Miller Cup came over from Northwestern to Indiana. I've been on his ass because he came as a fifth-year senior and started a video blog. I don't like that. 50-year senior, you know what you do? You come, you show up, you shut the hell up. But okay, he played well last night. Made 3 straight free throws down the stretch, which is not easy. That's how good a game it was. It was a great game. And I hope you got a chance to see it, because last night was the best night of college hoops. Now, here's the deal. I have not sat down and watched college hoops really all year. I've watched. Like, I watched Memphis get obliterated by Iowa State. I was having dinner with my kids and my wife, and I had family in, and we were kind of watching, but playing euchre when Gonzaga and Duke played. So I've been, I've seen it, and I know. But last night, as I said, right here and right here, first night that I sat my fat ass down and watched. I got to talk about the announcers, all right? I got to tell you people, announcers aren't biased. Let's go to the Indiana taking on Syracuse game first. Jimmy Dykes and Doug Sherman. They were great. They were not biased at all. You may not like one, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew once people found out that Doug Sherman went to Syracuse, you know what was going to happen? Oh, he's biased. Doug Sherman's the nicest guy in the world. Doug Sherman was not biased at all. And then Jimmy Dykes had to hear, well, he was a coach at Kentucky at one time. You know what Indiana Twitter did? Oh, he's anti-Indiana because he's at Kentucky. Jimmy Dykes was at Kentucky when I was at Indiana the first time, early 90s. Are you kidding me? Who are you crapping? Jimmy Dykes and Doug Sherman called a great game. They told you what was going to happen. They told you when it was going to happen. And they tried to tell you what was going to happen. But when you turned on Twitter, you would think, oh, my God. These guys, this is Gene Katie's staff from the 80s hating on Indiana. Nobody hated on nobody. It was a really well-called game. In fact, I actually took to Twitter to defend. I'm like, hey, Doug and Jimmy, there's no bias here. You may not like them. Of course, everybody ain't going to like them. Maybe you don't like whatever about him. I don't know. What's not to like about Jimmy Dykes? What's not to like about Doug Sherman? If you know him, there's nothing not to like. And then we go to the Ohio State game. And, of course, it's the same thing, Ohio State-Duke. Well, Jay Billis shouldn't be doing the Duke game. Shut up. Jay Billis was terrific last night. Jay Billis called a fantastic game. I made the mistake, and this is what I do on Twitter. This is why I'm bad on Twitter. I get mad at the refs. I hate refs. I don't hate refs. I like them personally. But refereeing in college basketball drives me batshit crazy. I'm just going to tell you. It drives me effing nuts, okay? Nuts. So, one of the times when the refs were driving me nuts, like a dummy, I tweeted out something like, I don't know, there's only one way to make the Ohio State-Duke game dull. And I meant the refs, but when you tweet it out, you got to say that. Next thing you know, Billis makes it dull. Billis is it. No. Billis is biased? No, he's not. No. Look, Jay Billis has been doing this a long time. There ain't no bias because he went to Duke. There's no anti-Ohio State. What's wrong with you? So then, when you tweet something like that out, right, the responses, some of them are funny, so I press like on a couple of them to keep them for my show this afternoon. But the truth of the matter is, stop with the crap. Stop with, oh, this guy hates my team. He hates us. No, he doesn't. Doesn't even care. You're calling a game. You're trying to make it energetic. And then Purdue game had John Shambi and Fran Fraschilla. But here's the deal with Mackey Arena, particularly now that Purdue's #1 in the country. They're beating the hell out of Florida State. So, what happens? You don't really hear the announcers in that game because Mackey Arena is so loud. But Boog and Fran are terrific too. But I'm not going to lie. The Indiana game was going. I really didn't watch the Purdue game. I watched some, and Purdue was going to beat their ass, so there was no reason to sit there and watch. But damn, everybody isn't biased against your team. Everybody doesn't dislike your team. Swear to God. Stop it, stupid. That's the name of the show. The name of this show should be Stop It, Stupid. That'd be a hell of a name. That'd be a great name. The graphic on our Twitter looks like Indiana won, and I did that on purpose because I want you all to think that Indiana won last night. We only read headlines anyway, don't we? Yeah. So I figured, what the hell? We'll do that. No, that's not true. But the truth of the matter is, Indiana played well. Ohio State played well. Duke played well. Syracuse played well. Florida State got their ass beaten. Purdue played really well, and they're the number one team in the country. That's my recap on college basketball. Man, you guys and announcers, when did this start? Like, I know everybody hated me, but I figured everybody liked all these other guys. You're biased. You're hateful. Shut up. I need coffee.